Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Topic Tuesday webinar featuring information technology services. My name is Emily Kelly, and I work as a graduate intern within orientation services at the University of Iowa. Our webinar series features presentations by many different campus offices throughout the summer. You can see all of our webinars available and register for them on the Orientation Services website. We will be utilizing the live Q&A feature during this presentation. So if you have a question, please type it into the Q&A chat function and our team will work to answer questions throughout the chat. There will also be an opportunity at the end of the presentation where we can have our presenter answer questions live. If you want to access this material after today's presentation, you can find the link to our YouTube page on Orientation Services website, newstudents.uiowa.edu. At this time, I would like to introduce my campus colleague, Jamie Matthews, representing Information Technology Services.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for joining us today for this Technology at Iowa presentation for new students that will be starting on campus this fall. As Emily mentioned, my name is Jamie. I am the IT director for the ITS Help Desk at the university, and with me today are Adrian and Austin, and they are going to help us answer questions in the Q&A as we go through this presentation. So we'll be, as Emily mentioned, we'll be answering a lot of questions at the end because that's our main goal for today, is to make sure we get all of your questions answered. But feel free to chat in that Q&A at any time during this presentation. So let's go ahead and get started. Here is an overview of what we are going to discuss today. We want to make sure that your students are aware of all of our services that we offer and everything that we offer that is free to University of Iowa students. We all know that college can be expensive for students, and we want to make sure they are taking advantage of everything that we offer. So the first thing that we are going to discuss are Hawk IDs. When your student was accepted at the University of Iowa, the first thing that they probably received was their Hawk ID, which is literally just their user ID and their password that they will log on to all of our services with. So we want to make sure that they understand like how to reset their password. On this website, hawkid.uiowa.edu, they can reset their password. They can test their username and password. And it's just filled with a lot of tools that will help them manage their Hawk ID throughout their university career. One thing that I forgot to mention that I want to stop and mention right now is this presentation is filled with helpful links for your students. You do not need to take photos of the screen as we are going through here, because on the newstudents.uiowa.edu website, you can find this presentation. We want you to download this and share it with your students so they have all of the links that are in this presentation. And thank you for sharing that link, Emily. So when you download this link, there's going to be, it's filled with these, or when you download the presentation, it's going to be filled with helpful links. We want you to share it with your students. And you can also, as Emily mentioned earlier, we are recording this presentation so you can come back and watch this again if you find it to be helpful. In a perfect world, we would be sharing this information. We would be talking to students directly. There's probably a lot of parents online, maybe a few students, but your students right now are very, very busy with getting enrolled in courses and doing all those required things to become an actual University of Iowa student. So our information is geared more for once they get to campus or things that they can do this summer. So we don't want to overwhelm them with too much information right now, which is why we are hoping that you will help us by sharing this information with your student. All right, back to Hawk ID passwords. We want to make sure that your students know how to change their password. They can test their account at that URL. When students are applying to become a University of Iowa student, it is very common in their application materials in MyUI, which is the system that we use, They frequently will put a parent or a guardian email address or phone numbers in My UI. It is very critical that students make sure that as they are now a University of Iowa student, they need to have their University of Iowa email address and their phone number in My UI. There are several services that will depend on that information. We'll talk about two-step login in a minute, but we just want to make sure that their information is updated appropriately in My UI. One question we receive from students frequently is our new students will think that they need to log on to our systems with their university ID number, and they will never need to do that. They will use their Hawk ID, which is normally a combination of their first initial of their first name and their last name, like J. Smith. They will use that Hawk ID throughout their university career to log on to all of our systems. Another question that we receive from students a lot is they won't have access to most of our services until after they're registered for their courses. So once they're enrolled, then they will have access to almost all of our services. All right. Don't see any questions, so we'll just keep going. Parent guest IDs. Your student, once they are a University of Iowa student, they are protected by FERPA, which means that they can't share any of their University of Iowa information unless they give permission. So your students can send a parent or a guardian an invitation to create an account in My UI. They do that through the My UI system. It will send an email, and that will allow a parent to create an account so they can log on to My UI to see their students, their U-Bill, their grades. They can see their course schedule. So if you do this, and if your student sends you that invitation to create this, if you create your ID and get logged in and you can't see anything, it's because your student needs to check all the different check boxes to give you access to the various areas in My UI. So we want you to be aware of that. So in case your student forgets, you can ask them to send you an invitation. We do have a lot of parents that are also University of Iowa employees. Make sure if that is your situation, make sure that your students send the email to your University of Iowa email account, because you'll just use your same Hawk ID for access to My UI for your student. And as you can see, there's the URL for My UI right there. Okay, moving on. Two-step login. This is the university system for multi-factor authentication. I think we are very well aware when we log into our banking systems or many systems that we use, the system will text a code to our phones. And that's basically what this is. We just call it two-step login. And we use the Duo mobile app for this service. This is required for everyone at the university, faculty, staff, and students. Your new students will have 30 days to get enrolled in this, and we want them to do this now. That link right there, how to set up Duo, that will take you to a support article that provides step-by-step instructions for how to set this up. We want to make sure that students are doing this now because their accounts are not protected until they are enrolled in this service. So I'm going to talk about several different things during this presentation that we want your students to do now or this summer before they come to campus, just to have them be prepared for the first day of classes and be ready to go. Starting out the fall semester can be stressful, and we don't want anyone to be stressed. So this is one thing, have your students do this now. Okay, Iowa Courses Online. This is our learning management system. It's the tool that we use is called Canvas, the vendor that we use, and your students will access all of their course information for all of their courses in this site, icon.uiowa.edu. So they'll submit their assignments, they'll see their syllabi in here, they can have conversations through discussions with other students. One of the most frequent questions that we get from students is once they're enrolled in courses, they can log on to Icon, and we encourage them to do that. But if they log in, one of their first things that they may notice is they can't see their course information. If that happens, every instructor for every course has to turn their course on in Icon. A lot of instructors won't do this until the first day of the new semester this fall. So if your student gets logged in now, which we encourage them to do so that they can get used to the system and learn how it works, and if they don't see their course information, I would advise them to wait until the semester starts and they can ask their instructor about it on the first day of class. And more than likely by the first day of class, that course data will be available on the site. All right, moving right along, email and Office 365. Most high school students always use the Google ecosystem. So they have their Google email, their Google Chat, Google Docs, all of the Google services. At Iowa, we are a Microsoft campus. So it's the same thing as the Google ecosystem. It's literally just the Microsoft products. Your students already have their University of Iowa email that they will access through Microsoft 365. And we want to make sure that they are checking their email now. So the URL on this page, office365.uiowa.edu, that is where they will log in, and they have access to all of the online versions of the Microsoft Office products. They'll have their email account in there. One thing we want to make sure they understand, this is expensive if you have to go out and purchase this. Students get this for free throughout their entire University of career. Their email account is available to them for 2 years after they graduate. So this is a very nice perk for university students, and we want to make sure that they are taking advantage of this. So when they log in, they'll see Outlook and they can go to their email. They can go to OneDrive, and OneDrive, it provides 1 terabyte of storage for every student, which that is a lot of storage, and that would be expensive to pay for. So we always tell students, don't ever store any documents on the hard drive of your laptop or any computer. We want them to use OneDrive. If anything would happen to their laptop, they will still have all of their documents on OneDrive. So we want to make sure that they are aware of that and take advantage of that service. The other thing that's very nice about Microsoft is you can install it on up to 5 devices. If they log in to the Office 365 site, and if they go to apps, they'll see Outlook where they access their email, and then up in the right-hand corner, they'll see an option to download the full version of all of the Office products to their laptops, and they can install it on up to 5 devices. So their laptops, their tablets, their phones, a computer that they may have at home. This is a really nice perk that is free, and we want to make sure that they take advantage of it. Also, a little tip, when they are using the online version of these tools, the online version does not provide all the functionality that you receive when you download the full applications. So we want to make sure that they are downloading Excel, Word, PowerPoint, OneNote, all of those things, so that they have all of the features to these products. All right. So what we have learned over time is that most students will just log on to Office 365, just go to the online version of Outlook, which is fine. They can definitely use that. There's no problem doing that. However, we always encourage students to download the Outlook app and use it to access their email. The Outlook app is compatible with two-step login. Actually, the online version is as well, but the app provides more functionality. We prefer it, and we think that that extra layer of security from using the app, we always encourage students to do that. This link on this slide for how to access university email, that will take you to a support article that provides step-by-step instructions on how to set this up. AI, yay, the topic of the day. Everyone's going crazy about AI. One thing that we want students to know is that they have access to Microsoft Copilot for free. It's available through our Office 365 site. Copilot uses ChatGPT in the background. So I know there's a lot of fans out there of ChatGPT. I would say Copilot is just as good. The advantage that we have as University of Iowa faculty, staff, and students is that when we use Copilot, we're logging in with our Hawk ID and our Hawk ID password. That provides a level of security that you don't get with the other free tools. So we encourage students to use Copilot during their career at Iowa. That website right there will give them more information about how to use it, how to access it. And instructors, I'm sure you all have heard over the last several years that instructors are working to determine how they want students to use AI. It's a newer technology that we want to make sure students know how to use. So every instructor will provide their how they want their students to use AI in their courses. So your student won't have to worry about that because the instructor will provide information on what they want them to do or not do with AI in their courses. All right, moving on to networking. When your student comes to campus, this is another thing we want them to do before the semester starts. When they come to campus and they go to the wireless options on their phones or their tablets or their laptops, they're going to see 3 different wireless options. Eduroam is what we want them to use for all of their devices. It stands for Education Roaming. It is a high-speed wireless on campus. It's available all over campus. Most of the time, you can stay connected to Eduroam when you're walking between buildings. It is everywhere on our campus, and we want to make sure that students are using it because you have to log in with your Hawk ID, and this is a little different. You log in with your Hawk ID at uiowa.edu, and you enter your password, and that is what makes this wireless option safe and secure because you're authenticating to it. A lot of students will call us and say, I can't get access to this service. One of the first questions that we ask them is, are you connected to Eduroam? Frequently, they will be connected to UI Guest. UI Guest is not safe. It's not secure. It's for temporary use only. And almost all of our services will not work with UI Guest. So we want to make sure students know to connect to Eduroam, and they should be doing that as soon as they get to campus. UI DeviceNet is another wireless option that our networking team created for all of the gaming consoles and streaming devices, which I guess gaming is pretty important for college students. I don't know, I don't get it, but UI DeviceNet, that's a link right there, and it will take you to step-by-step instructions for how to connect your PlayStation, your Xboxes, your Fire TVs, your Amazon Fire Sticks, Roku's, all the things. Because you can't log into those devices with your Hawk ID, we created that DeviceNet wireless network for all of those devices. This is only available if your student is living in university housing on campus. If they're living off campus, they will not need this. They will be bringing their own routers to campus if they're living off campus. But that's another tip. If your student is living in any type of university housing, do not bring a wireless router to campus. our networking team will see that as a rogue device on our network and they'll shut it down pretty quickly. Eduroam is everywhere, and it's what we want students to use when they are on campus, in the residence halls, basically anywhere associated with the university. All right, I'm going to keep going. I hope you're all awake. We're getting close to the end of this, and then once we're done, we'll make sure that we answer all of your questions. Instructional technology centers, it's just a term for our computer labs that are located all across campus. This link here will show you every location, and it will also show you what software is installed in each location. Almost every student comes to campus with their own laptops, but these computer labs remain popular on campus as students can go there and they can use the printers. You can see that using the printers in our computer labs, it's not free, but it's very inexpensive. Most students really don't print a lot anymore, so we do not recommend them bringing their own printer to campus. The printers aren't that expensive, but the toner and the paper and the upkeep is what gets expensive with owning your own printer. So we want to make sure that they understand they can print in these computer labs all over campus if they prefer. Also, most of our residence halls have ITCs, so it's very handy for students to just have that computer lab available in their residence hall so they can use those computers for whatever they need to, access software that they might not have access to otherwise, and be able to print, like I said. One other tip, don't have your student purchase any software that they think they might need for their courses. The instructors will almost always provide software in these computer labs if a student should need it. So students really do not need to purchase any software, especially when starting out for their first year at the university. So this is a photograph of our walk-in area on the second floor of University Capitol Center. Us local Iowa City residents have known this, the University Capitol Center as Old Capitol Mall, and that's what we refer to it as. So the second floor of Old Capitol Mall is where you can find our walk-in location. Your students, the reason why they will want to come see us in this location is we will help them with any issue they have with any device. We will help them with their cell phones, their tablets, their laptops. Students have brought their laptops to us in our walk-in location, and if they're filled with viruses and they're having trouble even using their laptop, we will go as far as having them check their laptop in and wiping the hard drive and reinstalling the operating system. This service is absolutely free. We are normally very busy at the beginning of the semester, but we are available all the time, even in the summer. In the summer, we're open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, but you can see our hours here. The walk-in area is open until 6 p.m. during the semester, Monday through Thursday, but your students can call us, email us, or live chat with us until 10 p.m. during the semester. And you can see we even have hours on the weekend. If your student really wants assistance on a Saturday during football season, we are not busy. So we highly encourage them to contact us on Saturday afternoons during football season. So you can see our phone number there, our email address, and then that URL right there is for our live chat system. The support website, its.uiowa.edu. On that site, you will find support instructions for every service that we offer. They will see instructions on how to connect their Roku to DeviceNet, how to get connected to Eduroam with their cell phones. Anything that we offer on campus that your students need to know how to use, there are step-by-step instructions on that website. One thing to keep in mind, parents, don't forget that you can call us for help with your parent guest IDs for my UI. If your students need help with any service that they provide, they need to be the ones to call us because we need to talk to your students directly to help them answer their questions and how to use these services. All right, the fun of our time together today for this presentation are FAQs. So again, Austin shared with us the link to that newstudents.uiowa.edu program presentations website. That is where you can download this presentation. What is out there right now for technology at Iowa is our presentation from last year. It's similar to the one we're using today, but it's a little bit different. If you wait just a few days, you'll have access to this same material that we are discussing today. So here's the number one question that we always receive from students and parents. I received a lot of this money for graduation. It's burning a hole in my pocket. I want to buy a new laptop. Should I buy a Mac or a PC? It does not matter. It's personal preference. If your student used a Mac all through high school, probably I'm not going to recommend that they switch to a PC now. It really does not matter, but this link to review our recommendations, that will give you some recommendations for specifications for like hard drive size, the amount of RAM that we think that you should have. The one thing we warn new students, especially students that have just graduated from high school, it's common for high schools to provide Chromebooks for high school students, and a lot of students will bring them to campus, which is absolutely fine. Using a Chromebook is no problem, but that the software, the operating system for a Chromebook is not compatible with some of our university's services. So we don't recommend having that as your only device. But again, students can go to those computer labs on campus. They're located all over campus. Some of them are open 24 hours a day. So they will always have access to a computer if they need it. All right, and if they're engineering students or business students, those links right there are recommendations to what those colleges will recommend for their students. Okay, so these next two slides are literally just frequently asked questions. So I'm not going to go through these in detail, but again, go to that website, download this presentation so you can share this information with your students. So for example, we don't recommend that students bring a printer to campus. And for goodness sakes, do not bring a wireless router if you're living in university housing. It's not going to work. Every year we learn that electronic textbooks, they're available through Icon Direct, and that link will take them to more information about how to purchase that. I think those get a little bit more popular every year. But again, that's personal preference. There are a lot of students that really want to hold that book in their hand, and there's nothing wrong with that. Again, take advantage of that 1 terabyte of free space in Microsoft OneDrive. Again, that would be really expensive if you had to pay for that. So we want to make sure that students are aware of that so they will never lose any documents that are important to them. So again, we're talking about using the Outlook application there. Here's more information about how a student can send that invitation to their parent or guardian to create a guest account. So that's really helpful information. Moving on here, information about Eduroam and DeviceNet. Students often ask, can I still use my Gmail account? It's absolutely fine to use your Gmail account. However, they are required to check their University of Iowa email for important information that we only provide through that email account. So definitely make sure that they are logging on and checking their email right now. They can be doing that, they have access to that already. Again, the Hawk ID tools are very helpful if they want to make sure that their password is correct, or they can change their password if necessary. And then these links at the bottom are just other resources that we have for software that we want to make sure that they are aware of. All right, did I tell you that there's a lot of links in this presentation? I was not kidding. But these are all links that we encourage your students to go through and learn more about all of our services before they come to campus. These are all things that we highly recommend. It's things that are free that they have access to, like virtual desktop and LinkedIn Learning. We want students to understand what phishing is. I think as adults, we all get those phishing emails in our inboxes every day. New students are probably our number one audience that click on malicious links in email. Our security team works very, very hard to keep those emails out of our inbox. It's literally not possible to stop every single email, malicious email, from hitting our inbox. So we want students to understand what phishing is. This phishing information link is filled with information on, security things, how to recognize phishing information. If your student is not aware of what phishing is, we highly recommend that they go to that website and learn more about it. Also, friendly reminder, they can call us. They can call us, they can email the help desk, they can live chat with us. We're open all summer long. We are there to help them at any time use all of our services. So make sure that they take advantage of that too. So again, our walk-in location is there to help students with their devices. That's normally why students will come to see us in person, because they can email us, call us, live chat with us. But when they come to our walk-in location, it's normally so we can help them with their devices. Don't Make sure that your students never, ever, ever share their Hawk ID password, not even with you. You don't need their password. You should be logging into MyUI with your parent ID. So we want to make sure that students are aware of that. Get used to the Microsoft 365 tools now. They can log in now, be familiar with those things, download all of the Office applications. If your student already has all the Office applications installed on a laptop, they will want to um, log out of the account that they're using now so that they can log in with their University of Iowa Hawk ID and use our version of Office that is free. If they have any questions about that, again, contact us and we will help them figure that process out. So, yeah, our email address is there, our live chat's there, our phone number, and we are here to make sure that your students are successful at Iowa. As we all know, technology is everywhere. So we want to set your students up for success. And please, please, please have your students do these things before they come to campus. There's lots of things they can do this summer. So that is all that I have. If I'm going to go back to these FAQs and just leave the screen here so you can read this information that as you would like to, but then also I will remind you that that you can download this presentation again. And then if you want me to answer any of these questions live, feel free to chat in the Q&A. I believe, Emily, I believe that they can just unmute themselves and ask questions too.
No, so for questions, please utilize the Q&A feature, and we will either type questions, and you should be able to see those in the answered section, or we will answer them live. But the Q&A feature is going to be the best way for us to assist you with your questions.
Okay, so let me look and see if there's any questions that I should be answering live. Sorry about that. Recommendation on specific laptop brands. Is there a recommendation for specific laptop brands for music or education? That is an excellent question. I should have talked about this. If your student wants to go out and buy a new laptop, they used to buy laptops in the University of Iowa bookstore because several years ago they could buy laptops and not be charged sales tax. That is no longer the case. The university bookstore and purchasing laptops there, it's a convenience for students. They do not need to purchase their laptop there. However, if they are in the market for a new laptop, whether they get a Dell, an HP, a Lenovo, a Mac, whatever they want, All students, K-12 and college students, get discounts for hardware. So if you are buying a new laptop, it doesn't really matter what brand. Just make sure that your student is getting higher education discounts because almost all vendors will provide that for students. Can we order a laptop online from the ITC or somewhere at Iowa? Yes. The university bookstore, you can order a laptop online and then go pick it up when you are on campus. Adrian or Austin, if anybody has a link to the bookstore website, that could be helpful that we might want to share if we can get that quickly. Will the IT link have information on software that is available to students with disabilities? Yes, our website has all of that information. If you have any questions about using any software tools for any sort of accessibility or disability, please call us. If we can't answer your questions, we have an entire office that has all of that information and we will help you with all of that. So that is a very good question. I'm glad you asked that. Yes, there's lots of information on our website, its.uiowa.edu. And if you need anything else, call us, email us, live chat with us. We will help you with that. Software, hardware for engineering majors. You know what? Don't buy anything. I shared a link earlier for the engineering laptop recommendations. It's in this presentation, but definitely look at that. If you have any questions, you can call us, but also it's possible that maybe for convenience, your student might want to purchase some software eventually. To start off as a new student, all of the software that they will need will be available in computer labs. The Siemens Center, where all of our engineering department is located, has at least one computer lab there. I think they have more than one. I don't recommend buying any software to start with. So, and their instructors will give them that information when they start taking courses this fall. Can a student use an Apple laptop for Microsoft 365? Absolutely. We have a lot of Mac users on campus. I realized I skipped a question. I'll go back. So when you log into Office 365 on a Mac and you go to applications and then you see the button to click to download Office, you will see that it will automatically download the Mac version if you're accessing it from a Mac. So yes, Office, 4 or 5 years ago, Office didn't really, there were some issues with using Office on a Mac, but not really anymore. It's really, really good. Google for personal email. Yes, Google for personal email is fine. The students can, they need to check their university email, which is office365.uiowa.edu. Would I have issues using Microsoft websites with an older MacBook? Absolutely not. I have an old MacBook Pro. I recently just moved over to a new MacBook Air. My old MacBook Pro was 12 years old. I was still using Office on it. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Those are all very good questions. Yes, thank you for sharing the link to the Iowa Hawk Shop, because I believe you can buy laptops online. If you have any questions about buying a laptop, you can call us. We're going to give you our opinion, but really the hardware recommendation site, that link that I shared earlier, that is what we're going to recommend. And again, brand, I don't think brand really matters anymore. It's just if you want a Mac or a PC. All right, team, did I miss anything? Is there any other questions I should be answering? It took me a second as a presenter to find the Q&A button because there's lots of options. So thank you for your patience as I was trying to find those questions.
Of course, there No questions currently, but for those of you still with us, please feel free to submit more questions. We still have plenty of time to answer any questions that you may have live.
You know, one of the reasons why we want your students to do as many of these things this summer, like log into Office 365, know how to use OneDrive, when they're on campus, get connected to Eduroam. I mentioned this earlier, but when your students start classes in the fall, I mean, they're moving to Iowa City. It's a big change. If they have all of their technology figured out, it just makes things so much easier for them. So we definitely want them to prepare. I know. Can you tell I'm a mom? Yes. Come on, kids. Get your act together before you go to campus. I'm going to go back to this page just so you can see that information. And again, our email live chat and our phone service where students can call us during the semester, we're open until 10 p.m. It's just our walk-in area that closes at 6 p.m. and everything closes at 5 p.m. on Friday. All right. We are going to stay on for just a few more minutes just to make sure any of you, if you have any further questions, want to make sure that you get your questions answered. I really like this question, and don't worry about it if you missed it. If your student is admitted into the College of Business, it really doesn't matter if they need a Mac or a PC. I mean, they can use either. Special software that requires Windows only, no, not really aware of that at all. Um, if there was something that would require a PC, which I don't think there is, but those labs on campus, several of those labs on campus have Macs. We have a lot of PCs on campus, but no, I don't think there's anything that requires Windows only. Do we get to see you at summer orientation? That's funny. I'm actually retiring, and July 1st is my last day. But our team at the help desk, Scott and Kylie, will be giving this same presentation at orientation. And that is where we get a lot of questions from parents. How come you're not giving this presentation to our students? I mentioned this earlier, but your students are really overwhelmed with trying to get enrolled in all the classes that they need to get enrolled in. So we feel like our information is what they need after they get done with all of the required things at orientation, which is why we ask for your help to go to that website, download our presentation, and share that with your students. And then you can also come to the Becoming a Hawkeye sessions. You'll find in the program and in the agenda that the technology at Iowa presentation, I believe it's still held in the Iowa Theater. And we will be there giving this same information. And you can say hi to Scott and Kylie because they will be the ones providing this information on campus. All right. Any last questions before we end this session this afternoon? We really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. I said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Technology is a huge piece of the college experience for your students. And the more informed they are, the better off they will be in the long run. So we appreciate you taking the time to learn more about technology at Iowa. So thank you for coming today.
That is it for our webinar today. As a reminder, this content can be accessed on Orientation Services YouTube page, which can be found through our website at newstudents.uiowa.edu. Thank you all for taking the time to attend today's Topic Tuesday webinar on prepping for life as a student. Next week's webinar series theme will be student support resources. Hope to see you all then. Go Hawks!